Hey everybody, it's Mike from Mike Olson Art. I hope everyone's having a great day today. As usual, thank you guys so very much for taking the time out of your day to check in here and hear me talk a little bit more about some of the art cards that I've been making. I think since my appearance on the Card Life last year, my commission schedule has been pretty bonkers, back to back, and it hasn't given me a lot of time to work on any kind of personal projects. And believe me, that is a great problem to have. And I cannot thank you guys enough for continuing to reach out, continuing to request cards. I just cannot thank you guys enough for investing in me and my work. Every card that you guys book with me just is an opportunity for me to keep creating. So thank you guys so much. But I've been, I kind of had a card in my head for a while now, and I've been hoping somebody might reach out and request it. And so far nobody had reached out. So I started kind of working on this one a little bit here and there at the end of the day or at the very beginning of the day, wherever I could find a little bit of time. And for those of you who have followed me for a while, you guys know that I love a good story behind a card, but I also love a really cool or really fun coincidence. And that's kind of what happened with this card. As I was finishing it up, I'm literally putting, my name down at the bottom. I see an email pop up in my inbox, and it's a collector that reached out, and they asked, have I ever done or could I do a Paul Skenes 2024 debut patch card? And at that moment, I was able to tell him I sure can. So here is our 2024 Paul Skenes patch card. This card, you guys, I don't think there's anybody that doesn't know what this card looks like. This card has been in the news for quite a while now, and it's part of the reason why I wanted to do this card. But there was a whole lot more that went into the making of this card and why we made it. So why don't we just jump right in and hear some more. All right, guys, so here is our 2024 Paul Skenes rookie debut patch card. I'll be honest, I did this card initially for two reasons. Reason number one is I just love doing cards that are super high value cards. The higher the value, for some reason, the more interesting it is to me to try and do my own version of it. So this card, I think, sold for $1.1 million just the other day. Dick's Sporting Goods bought it. It's one of 5 cards that have sold for more than $1 million, and I think the only other active player with a card more expensive than this one is a Mike Trout card, which I believe went for a little over $3 million. And maybe I'll get to do that one at some point, but that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this Paul Skenes card was, pretty much just based on the hype and the, price this card fetched when it finally did go to auction. So the other reason I wanted to do this card is right there is the patch. I've seen a ton of patch cards since I started hand making cards, and I've always wanted to try to do my own handmade version of just any kind of patch. And this just seemed like a great one to dive into. It's a patch that everybody knows. If you're a collector, you've definitely seen this card. So it seemed like a really fun one to try and just dive right into. And I'll zoom in a little bit here. I think it came out really nice. I tried to give it the look of stitching wherever I could. And I think overall, it does kind of look like a patch. So I'm happy that that's, was successful, because that's one of the reasons I really wanted to do this card. I think the hardest part of this card was a lot of the tiny details. Down here you'll notice a lot of super tiny text. It's really almost barely legible, and I'm honestly surprised I was able to write this all without making a mistake. But a lot of this text down here, super small, and Paul, his likeness, while you don't see a ton of his body in this card, the parts you do see, are really important. So you catch a little bit of his eyeball underneath the bill of his hat here. Obviously his trademark mustache. And those were two tiny details that I really knew I had to get right if this card was going to look correct at all. So super happy with how that came out. And the surprise that, made me super happy about this one was his glove. I've drawn a ton of gloves before, but I really am happy with how this glove came out. Just some of my best work when it comes to baseball gloves. So that's a little bit about our card front. Flip this over. Card back is my pretty much standard card back. Paul's only pitched 1 year, so I put his rookie stats. He won the NL Rookie of the Year this last year, so I put his last year's stats in there. Colored in my flourish here with the Pittsburgh Pirates yellow, and then signed it. And like I said, the second I signed this card is when our collector reached out and asked, if I had one of these cards available. So, it's going to be a gift for his son. So I really hope that his son, loves this, because it was such an awesome coincidence. Just felt like it was meant to be. So that's our card back. And another quick look at our card front. This card front, looking at it initially, didn't look too complicated, to be honest. I saw a lot of white space. I didn't see a lot of complicated stuff. And then, kind of like an onion, the more you kept peeling and looking deeper and deeper, the more I saw a lot of really tricky things, whether it was that text, these tiny logos, trying to make this look like a stitched patch, getting the gold to work, just a lot of tiny things that started to add up, making this one a real challenge. So in the end, I'm super happy with the likeness of Paul and just how this card came out. All right, so that is the story behind my brand new Paul Skenes debut patch card. This card was super fun to work on. This card has been in the news now for a couple of weeks, and it's just a really interesting card to get to work on. The collector that picked this one up got it as a gift for his son, and I hope that he really, really loves it. This card is just one of those cards that, you see it and you just say, wow, because of all the hype around it. So I hope you guys really, really love it. All right, guys, that's it. Like I always say, there's absolutely no card that we cannot create. Whether it's some card that's super famous and in the news, like this Paul Skenes card, or whether it's just a card that you just personally like that might not have, a crazy story attached to it. But either way, reach out. There's no card that we can't create. So that's it, guys. It was great to talk to you. If you'd like to reach out and talk about a card project, you can find me here on Instagram, DM me, or reach out in the comments, or you can head over to mikeolsenart.com and you can reach me that way. But either way, I can't wait to talk to you guys. All right, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.